Hi and welcome to a new video on my channel. Today we are making citrus slices, coasters made with Tunisian crochet, and a very simple technique that I will show you in detail. Let me show you some of the prototypes that I came up with before stopping on this pattern. So these are all prototypes that are created for this pattern. This is the first one. It's supposed to be a grapefruit. This is the second one. It's supposed to be a lime. It doesn't really look like a lime. This is the last one actually. I wanted to try something, but I don't really love how it looks like. So this is what we're going to be making. So let's get the materials and let's get started. To make this pattern you will need some yarn in two colors, one color and one white. I recommend using regular cotton yarn that has 115 meters per 50 grams. This is about size 3 or light yarn between sport and decay. A 4.5 or 5mm hook, a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle. If you use the thinner yarn that has more meters per 50 grams, then you should use a smaller hook, for example 4mm. You choose the color of your yarn depending on what fruit you want to make. For example, this is pink, it will be a grapefruit, or you can have orange for clementines, yellow for lemons, or fresh green for lime. We start with the white. To make the center of the slice, we make a simple loop, insert the hook, pick up a loop, chain 1, and then put 8 single crochet stitches into the magic ring. Then we pull on the tail to close the magic ring, and we insert the hook into the top of the first stitch, but we don't pull up a loop. We pick up the second color and we pull up a loop with that color. So we slip stitch using the second color, leaving a tail. Now we chain 5, and from now this part of the pattern is exactly the same as in the case of the face scrubbies. So we pick up 5 loops in the back bumps of the chains, then we insert the hook into the first stitch and pick up a loop. Now we do a regular return, so yarn over, pull through 2 all the way to the beginning. Now we have a short row coming up, so we pick up 4 loops and we yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning. This is a short row return. Then we pick up 5 loops, 3 in the second row, then 2 loops in the first row, and 1 more loop in the first single crochet stitch in the base here. Then we yarn over, pull through 2 all the way to the beginning. Then we have another short row. We pick up 4 loops, then yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning. And now we repeat this. We have 1 regular row, 1 short row, 1 regular row, 1 short row in each of the remaining 7 single crochet stitches. So next row we pick up 5 loops, and 1 loop in the next single crochet stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning. Then we pick up 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning. You continue working like this and I will meet you back when I have completed the round. When you're finished with your repeats, you should have this, and you should count your stitches now. These should be 32 all around. If you don't have 32, go back and see what you skipped and make sure you have 32 when you stop. We will be switching to white, but first we can go ahead and sew up the gap and weave in the 2 ends that we have already. First of all, we should close this gap, so pick up the white yarn, insert the hook into the top of the first row here, and draw up a loop and slip stitch. This will close off the pink section, and now you can pull it up high. We will not be using it right now, and you can weave in the white end and use the colored end to close up the gap, just like in the case of the face scrubby. So we put the yarn through a needle and we bring the yarn to the front, going into this gap here. So on the front it will be on the right side of the gap below the first horizontal bar. Then we go under the first horizontal bar close to the gap, and then under the first on the other side. Then we come back to the right side and we go under the first bar of the row on the right side, then on the left, and back to the right. Here we have one on the short row and on the left, and we do this 5 times to close up all of the horizontal bars. And then we pull, and now you cannot see where the gap is. And you can weave in the end on the back, just going back and forth 3 times. Make sure that the needle is not visible on the right side when you go through the back loops here. Then you cut off the excess and do the same with the white end. Now we have 2 ends less to worry about, and we continue with the white. On this row we will be working through these 2 loops, but also through the 3rd loop on the back. So I will show you how. First we chain 1, we pick up a loop in the back bump of the chain to make 1 Tunisian simple stitch, and then we insert the hook through the top of the row, and also we pick up the 3rd loop, which you can see here next to my hook. Pick up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next we pick up 1 loop in the horizontal bar here from the previous row, and we pick up another loop in the same stitch. We pick up a loop and we pick up a loop in the next row, and then we repeat this 2 rows in 1 stitch, then 1 row. When you're finished with this row, you can cut the yarn, but you have to leave a long tail somewhere around 60 centimeters. So that would be 24 inches, I think 24 inches, because you need to use it to create these wedges. Now you pull the end through this gap and then put the end through the eye of a needle. And then you have to do 2 things before you can start making the wedges. First you have to create an invisible join here. So you go with the needle from the front to the back behind the 2nd stitch, and then you go back where you came from, here towards the back. And this way you cannot see the join anymore. And now we also need to unite this horizontal line. We turn the piece so the gap is facing us. Then we come from below on the right side and insert the needle under the first horizontal bar and then under the 2nd horizontal bar on the left side. And now we have created an additional bar there. You can close the gap completely if you want to, or you can leave it a bit open. It's your choice. Then you take the yarn to the back to secure it. And now we're going to make the wedges. I recommend doing it where you have a full row of 5 horizontal bars, for example here or here. So we come up with the needle at the base here on one of these rows and go with the needle under each horizontal bar, then pull through and go into the white space here, the base of the colored rows, and that's 1 line. Then on the back we take the needle and push it back out to make the next wedge a little further on. So we look at the work, we can count from here. We have 1 loop here, 1, 2, 3, 4. On this column we will make the 2nd line. Put the needle under each of these horizontal bars. There should be 5. Then you pull the yarn through and insert the needle here at the base of the 2 rows. Then again on the back, we navigate towards the next spot. We skip 4 rows of the original base and come out to the front at the base of these 2 rows. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4th. We make the bar here, the line here, and insert the needle at the base. You continue making these lines around until you have 8 wedges. And then when you're finished, you just weave in the end into this section. Apparently I made the end a bit too long. Now the end is woven in. All we have left to do is the rind. You can use a different color for this if you like, but I will use the same color. So we pick up the hook and we will put slip stitches into the edge here. But make sure that your slip stitches are loose. So we look at the back and we insert the hook into a corresponding loop and pick up a loop here, chain 1 to lock it, and then slip stitch into the next stitch, leaving the yarn loose. You don't want to pull very tightly on this because otherwise you will make the coaster lose its shape, and we don't want that. So gingerly we create these chains on the edge. We slip stitch all around, and when we finish the first row of slip stitches, then we will put another row of slip stitches into the same stitches. So there will be 2 rows of slip stitches that will create this rind. Of course you are free to make your own variation and see what you like, but I tried different methods and this is the one that gave me the nicest edge. At the end of the row, you will slip stitch into the back of the first slip stitch and then continue around, making slip stitches into the same stitches that you slipped into before, also leaving your tension loose. Go like this all the way around. When you're done, cut the yarn, leaving a tail, and pull the end through and pass it through the eye of a needle. And now we'll be creating 2 false stitches to create an invisible seam here. First of all, take the needle and pass it behind the second stitch here. So this is the transition to the second row. We pass it from the back to the front and put the needle back through the stitch that the yarn came from and take it to the back. That's 1 stitch, and now we have to deal with the bottom row as well. So we come from the back through the last stitch on the row, and then we go through the first correct stitch of the row and back through the last stitch here to the back. This creates an invisible seam, so you can't see it when looking at it. Now you can weave in the last end and the coaster is finished. Yay, the coaster is finished! You will notice that it has a bit of a 3D shape now, but with a nice press it will become flat and pretty. You can press it with your iron on the cotton setting. If you made this out of something else, not cotton or linen or hemp or other natural fibers, please don't press it with the iron. For example, if you use acrylic, you can block it with a bit of steam and it will become flat. Just hover with the iron on a steam setting over the top of it and it will lay flat. But I don't recommend using acrylic for coasters because acrylic doesn't absorb water. So if you want to make coasters, please use cotton or linen or another cellulose based fiber. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you'll make many beautiful coasters using this technique. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to know when I will publish the video in which I will show you how to turn this into a square to make blankets and pillowcases and other things with cute slices of citrus. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!